The vast Galactic Council chamber stretched into darkness above where 57 species had gathered. Each representative stood or floated at their designated platforms, their attention fixed on the central holographic display showing a small blue-green planet. Advisor Ta moved her slender hand through the projection, zooming in to reveal continents, oceans, and swirling cloud patterns. For 3,000 cycles, we have kept Earth in isolation status, she said, her voice clear and measured. Our probes have monitored from a distance, avoiding direct contact due to the unusual energy patterns and evolutionary anomalies we've detected. Several council members shifted uncomfortably. The data scrolling beside the planet showed readings that defied standard classification. High Counselor Jun, whose skin held the pale blue tint of the ancient Syrian line, leaned forward on his ceremonial staff. His 6 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of deep interest among his kind. "And now, what has changed to bring this before the full council?" he asked. Tay touched another control, and the hologram shifted to show cities, vehicles, and beings walking on 2 legs. "Now we have confirmed intelligent life," she replied, pausing to let the significance register. "These humans have developed rapidly. More importantly, our historical scans show they have survived 17 near-extinction events that would have eliminated most developing species." The chamber filled with murmurs and the soft clicking sounds of the insectoid representatives. Asteroid impacts, ice ages, supervolcano eruptions, pandemics, even their own nuclear weapons tests. Ta continued. "Each time, these humans have adapted and continued. Their resilience is unprecedented in our records." Representative Key from the Water Worlds raised a webbed hand. "Do they possess spaceflight capability?" "Primitive only," Tai answered. "Limited to their own solar system. Their technology advances in unusual patterns, extraordinarily fast in some areas, surprisingly slow in others." From the shadows at the back of the circular chamber, Commander Sung watched with narrowed eyes. As military leader of the Dominion faction, he saw not curiosity but strategy. His 4-fingered hand tapped silently against the hilt of his ceremonial blade. Unlike most council species who believed in careful observation and peaceful contact, the Dominion held that primitive species were resources to be controlled or eliminated before they became threats. Sung's people had joined the council only 300 cycles ago, and many older members still regarded them with suspicion. Counselor Bai of the Science Guild projected her thoughts directly, as was her species practice. These readings suggest quantum awareness potential beyond anything we've encountered. If true, these humans could eventually develop abilities that might match our most advanced technologies. The chamber grew quieter. The implications were clear to all present. "I propose continued observation," Ta concluded. "No contact for at least another 50 cycles, until we better understand their development path." High Counselor Jun called for the vote. One by one, the representatives indicated their positions. A few abstained, but none opposed. The agreement was recorded in the eternal archives. Earth would remain isolated, watched but untouched. What the council did not know was that Commander Sung had already acted. 3 rotations earlier, his personal stealth probe had launched toward Earth, bypassing the council's monitoring systems. Designed with technology even the council did not possess, it would reach the planet in 5 days. As the session ended and representatives filed out, Sun received confirmation that his probe had successfully passed the outer warning beacons. His thin lips curved into what his species considered a smile. "Commander," his aide whispered, "if the council discovers this unauthorized mission—" "They won't," Sung interrupted. "And by the time our assessment is complete, they'll thank me. These humans have survived too much to be mere accident. Either they possess something valuable we must acquire, or they represent a future threat we must eliminate." The aide looked troubled but knew better than to question further. As Sun left the chamber, Advisor Ta watched him from across the room. Though she had no proof, her instincts, honed through 700 cycles of diplomatic service, told her the Dominion was planning something. She made a mental note to increase surveillance on Earth's sector. Neither of them could have predicted how their actions would set in motion events that would forever change the balance of power in the galaxy. The small blue planet, dismissed by many as primitive and unremarkable, was about to demonstrate why it had survived when so many others had fallen. Commander Sung paced the secure chamber aboard his flagship, the Relentless Virtue. The room's dark walls absorbed sound, ensuring their conversation remained private. 5 senior Dominion officers sat around the circular table, watching the images from Earth's cycle on the display. Primitive but dangerous, Sung reported, stopping to tap on an image of human military forces. These humans must be controlled before they advance further. The stealth probe had returned with thousands of hours of recordings, human cities, military bases, communication networks, and energy systems. Most concerning were the weapons tests showing rapid development. Admiral Hannah, his second-in-command, studied the tactical display with her golden eyes narrowed. Her scaled skin reflected the blue light as she manipulated the projection. "The Council would never approve intervention," she said. "They've explicitly voted for continued observation only." "Which is why we won't ask permission," Sung replied, his voice low but firm. "A swift, overwhelming force. They'll surrender within days." He expanded the display to show deployment plans. 5 battle groups would target Earth's major defense centers simultaneously. The humans wouldn't even understand what hit them. "Their weapons are chemical-based projectiles and primitive missiles," Sung continued. "Our shields can withstand such attacks indefinitely. They have no defense against our energy weapons." Admiral Hannah looked unconvinced. "And if the Council discovers this operation, by then we'll present them with a controlled Earth, ready for resource extraction," Sung said with confidence. "They'll protest, then quietly accept the new reality. They always do." General Munn, commander of ground forces, studied the human anatomy reports. Their physical capabilities seem unimpressive. No enhanced strength, speed, or sensory abilities. "Do not underestimate them," cautioned Science Officer Bin, the only one who had argued against the mission. "The probe data shows unusual problem-solving capabilities. Their history is filled with adaptation to new threats." Some dismissed the concern with a wave. All species adapt. None adapt quickly enough to matter in battle. The plan was set. 3 battle groups would launch within the day, arriving at Earth in 2 weeks. The operation was codenamed Merciful Thunder, though there would be little mercy for those who resisted. 3 weeks later, Commander Sung stood rigid on the bridge of his command ship, his face locked in an expression of controlled fury. The tactical display showed another squadron of Dominion fighters vanishing from the screen. "Impossible," whispered Admiral Hannah, watching the human counterattack unfold. Humans were supposed to be pre-spaceflight primitives. Their weapons should have been useless against Dominion shields. Instead, they'd adapted with alarming speed. The first wave had gone according to plan. Dominion ships had appeared over major cities, demonstrating overwhelming force. Some had transmitted surrender demands in all human languages. The humans had responded with immediate, coordinated resistance. "Status report," some demanded. "Battle Group 3 has lost 40% of its fighters," reported the tactical officer. "Battle Groups 1 and 2 report heavy losses as well. The humans have somehow modified their weapons to penetrate our shield frequencies." "How?" Hannah demanded. "They couldn't possibly understand our technology so quickly." Science Officer Bin reviewed incoming data. "They've captured 3 of our downed ships intact enough to study. Somehow, they've reverse-engineered elements of our shielding technology and adapted their weapons accordingly." A massive explosion rocked the command ship. "Direct hit to our port engine array," called out the damage control officer. "Shields at 30% and falling." Another squadron of human fighters appeared on the display, launching missiles that shifted frequency as they approached, a technology the humans couldn't possibly have developed independently. Some stared at the tactical display, watching as the carefully planned operation collapsed into chaos. Ground forces reported ambushes using stolen Dominion weapons. Communications were being jammed using Dominion encryption codes. Retreat, he finally ordered, his voice tight with controlled rage. Tactical withdrawal to regroup. Commander, the Council will. Hana began. I know what the Council will do. Sung cut her off. Prepare my explanation while we withdraw. This isn't over. On Earth, Captain Jui looked up at the stars from a battlefield littered with alien wreckage. The night air carried the smell of burnt metal and strange chemicals. His unit had successfully defended the research facility, though at heavy cost. Around him, medical teams treated the wounded while technical crews secured alien technology. A crashed fighter ship lay half-buried in the dirt, its strange metals gleaming under portable lights. Get these ships to the research facilities, he ordered, pointing to the 3 relatively intact vessels they'd managed to capture. And prepare for the next wave. They'll be back. Professor Kang approached, her face smudged with soot, but her eyes bright with excitement. Captain, you were right. Their shield technology operates on predictable frequency patterns. We've already adapted 12 types of weapons to counter them. Jay nodded. Work faster. We bought time today, but they'll return with new tactics. He looked again at the stars, wondering what else waited up there, and whether Earth had just stumbled into a war it couldn't possibly win. The emergency Galactic Council chamber pulsed with angry voices. Delegates from all 57 member species had been summoned without notice, many arriving still disoriented from rapid transit. This unauthorized attack is an outrage. High Counselor Jun slammed his fist on the ancient stone table, silencing the room. His 6 eyes flashed with rare anger. The Dominion has violated our most sacred principles. The central holographic display showed Earth, now surrounded by the debris of battle. Dominion ships retreated in disarray while human defenses tracked their withdrawal. Commander Sung stood before the Council, his uniform still bearing scorch marks from battle. Though defeated, he showed no remorse. I acted to protect the galaxy, he stated flatly. You acted without authorization, countered Councillor Ta. The Council voted explicitly for observation only. The chamber erupted again until Representative Quan of the Science Division rose. Her movements were precise as she connected her neural interface to the central system. Even more concerning is humanity's response, she explained as new data flowed onto the display. They're integrating captured technology at rates we've never observed before. The display showed humans dismantling Dominion ships, testing materials, and already producing hybrid weapons that merged their technology with alien principles. Their neural plasticity and problem-solving approaches are unique in our records, Quan continued. Within days, they adapted their weapons to penetrate Dominion shields, a feat that should take decades. Murmurs filled the chamber. A delegate from the gas giants spoke through his translator. How is this possible? Their biology seems unremarkable. Quan highlighted brain scan comparisons. Something about their neural architecture allows for unusual connections. They make conceptual leaps that our predictive models fail to anticipate. Commander Sung stepped forward, seeing his opportunity. This proves my point. These humans represent an existential threat. They've already weaponized our technology. Imagine what they'll do when they reach space. Several council members nodded in agreement, fear beginning to replace anger. The Dominion's assessment shows they will not stop at defense. Sung pressed. Their history demonstrates conquest and expansion. They will bring chaos to our ordered galaxy. You violated council law to attack a protected species, Counselor Jun reminded him, and in doing so, revealed their true nature. Sung replied smoothly. I submit that containment is now our only option. A full blockade of their system, perhaps reduction of their population centers, to prevent. Enough. The voice came from Counselor Da, who until now had remained silent. The ancient representative of the first species rarely spoke, making the chamber instantly still. Perhaps, Da said, rising slowly from his seat, we should be asking why we fear them so much. The council members shifted uncomfortably. Day's four arms moved in the formal pattern of deepest contemplation. In our 100,000 cycles of existence, the Council has encountered many species, some violent, some peaceful. None have prompted such fear from first contact. His eyes, ancient even among his long-lived kind, swept the room. We fear what we do not understand. But I see something familiar in these humans, something we have forgotten about ourselves. Commander Sung scoffed. Philosophical musing will not protect us when they arrive with weapons built from our own technology. The debate continued for hours. Some council members demanded sanctions against the Dominion. Others called for immediate containment of Earth. A third faction suggested formal contact to assess the humans directly. No consensus emerged. The council remained paralyzed by indecision. In a small research lab 12 levels below the council chamber, Science Officer Min worked alone. Her official duty was analyzing human communication patterns, but her true work was unauthorized. She carefully encoded another warning message, routing it through 17 relay points to hide its origin. The message contained schematics for detecting and countering the next likely Dominion attack strategy. Transmission complete, her system confirmed. Min wasn't alone in her efforts. Across the council complex, a dozen other officials from various species had formed a secret network. They shared a growing conviction. The Dominion represented the real threat to galactic stability, not humans. Council Representative Ba entered Min's lab quietly, securing the door behind her. The council remains deadlocked, she reported, but Sung is gathering support. 3 more species have joined his coalition calling for containment. Min nodded grimly. Then we must send more than warnings. The humans need defensive technology, not just information. That would violate every law of non-interference, Bab reminded her, though her tone suggested she had already considered this. The Dominion violated those laws first, Min replied, pulling up schematics for shield technology. The difference is, we're trying to prevent a massacre. Ba looked at the plans, then nodded slowly. I can arrange transport of materials, small shipments disguised as asteroid mining operations. Neither spoke what both understood. If discovered, their actions would be considered treason against the Council. The punishment was exile to the void between galaxies. Min sent the transmission anyway. On Earth, Captain G would soon receive vital information about Dominion ship vulnerabilities, information that might keep his planet alive when the next attack came. And both knew it would come soon. Commander Sung was not one to accept defeat. The massive underground bunker beneath Mount Hala hummed with energy as hundreds of military personnel moved with practiced precision. At the center of the command floor, General Hyun stood surrounded by holographic displays showing Earth's defensive positions. His weathered face revealed no emotion as red warning lights flashed across the screens. Dominion fleet has entered lunar orbit, announced the sensor operator. Count shows over 300 capital ships and at least 2,000 fighter craft. Hyun nodded once. 10 times larger than the first attack force, just as their mysterious alien allies had warned. All units report status, he ordered, his voice calm despite the gravity of the moment. Status reports flooded in from around the globe. In the 3 months since the first attack, humanity had worked with singular purpose. Old enemies became allies. Scientists shared discoveries. Every captured piece of alien technology had been studied, replicated, and improved upon. Orbital defense grid at 97% capacity, reported Colonel Lee from Space Command. Resonance weapon platforms 1 through 7 online, confirmed Dr. Jin from her research facility in Antarctica. Across the planet's surface and in orbit, hybrid defense systems came online. Human ingenuity had merged Dominion technology with Earth weapons in ways the aliens could never have anticipated. Conventional nuclear missiles now carried shield-penetrating warheads. Laser defense systems operated on shifting frequencies that Dominion shields couldn't block. Most important were the 3 experimental weapon platforms, built using schematics secretly provided by Council scientists who had chosen to help Earth despite their own laws. Above the planet, Admiral Hannah stood on the command deck of the Dominion flagship Eclipse. The massive vessel dwarfed anything in the human fleet. Her eyes were cold as she surveyed tactical displays showing Earth's defenses. "Their technology has advanced significantly," warned her tactical officer. "Using our own designs against us," Hannah acknowledged. "Clever, but insufficient. Begin the bombardment." No survivors this time. Commander Sung had been removed from command after the first defeat, but his assessment remained the strategic foundation. Humanity represented a threat that must be eliminated before they could reach the stars. The Dominion fleet moved into attack formation. The first wave of ships descended toward Earth's atmosphere, energy weapons charging. They never expected what came next. As the lead ships entered range, defense grids activated. But these were unlike anything the Dominion had faced before. From installations across 3 continents, experimental weapons powered up. The technology had been provided by sympathetic council species, but humans had modified them in ways their allies hadn't imagined possible. The first wave of Dominion fighters disappeared in flashes of blue light. Their shields, designed to withstand conventional energy weapons, proved useless against weapons that phased directly through them, targeting the ship's power cores. In the command bunker, General Hyun watched the tactical display with guarded optimism. First wave repelled. Prepare for their primary attack. Admiral Hannah's voice was tight with anger as she ordered the main fleet forward. Deploy all forces. Target their weapon platforms first, then population centers. The battle for Earth's skies intensified. Dominion ships vastly outnumbered Earth's defenses, but humans fought with the desperate creativity of a species facing extinction. Fighter pilots executed maneuvers that Dominion tactical computers classified as impossible. Ground-based weapons struck with precision that belied their recent development. Still, Earth's defenses began to falter under the sheer weight of the Dominion assault. One by one, defense platforms went dark. Dominion ships broke through to the upper atmosphere over 3 continents. In the command bunker, the situation grew dire. Half the displays showed red warning indicators. "We can't hold them much longer," Colonel Lee reported grimly. On the Dominion flagship, Admiral Hannah sensed victory. Deploy the planet killers. End this resistance. From the belly of 3 massive Dominion capital ships, planet killer weapons emerged, devices capable of shattering a world's crust. Against such weapons, no conventional defense could succeed. General Hyun received the warning from their orbital sensors. He closed his eyes briefly, then opened a secure channel. "Dr. Jin, they've deployed planet killers. We're out of options." Dr. Jin's voice came back steady. "The resonance field isn't fully tested. The power requirements might." "We have no choice," Hyun interrupted. "Activate the field." In her Antarctic facility, Dr. Jin looked at her team and nodded. Together, they activated Professor Jin's experimental resonance field, a technology that didn't just stop Dominion weapons, but turned their own energy against them. Based on Council science, but developed in ways their alien allies hadn't considered, the field created a quantum resonance across the planet's defensive grid. In orbit, Admiral Hannah watched in disbelief as the planet killer weapons fired, only for the energy to rebound in cascading waves. The quantum resonance spread from ship to ship, turning the Dominion's own energy weapons against their shields. From the secret council observation post hidden in Earth's orbit, Representative Kwan watched the battle unfold with a mixture of awe and fear. "They'd done the impossible," she whispered to her fellow observers. "They've taken our most basic concepts and evolved them beyond our understanding." The Dominion fleet, facing a weapon they couldn't comprehend, began to retreat. Humanity had survived, and in doing so, changed the balance of power in the galaxy forever. The spring air carried a hint of cherry blossoms as the massive alien vessel descended through Earth's atmosphere. Unlike the Dominion warships that had come before, this ship bore the peaceful emblems of the Galactic Council. Global defense systems tracked its approach but remained inactive. 6 months had passed since humanity had repelled the Dominion's full-scale invasion. 6 months of rebuilding, of studying captured technology, and of cautious communications with those council members who had secretly aided Earth. The council ship landed on the ceremonial grounds outside the newly established United Earth Government headquarters in Geneva. A crowd of dignitaries and media representatives watched as the ship's doors opened and the delegation emerged. High Counselor June led the procession, his 6 eyes blinking in the bright sunlight. Behind him came representatives from 12 major council species, each with distinct forms that had once seemed impossible to human imagination, but now were becoming familiar. President Han greeted them with a formal bow. "Welcome to Earth." The ceremonial meeting took place in the Grand Hall, broadcast to every corner of the planet. After formal introductions, High Counselor June stood before the assembly. "Humanity has earned its place among the stars," he announced, his translated voice echoing through the chamber. "We invite Earth to join the Galactic Council as our newest member." Applause filled the room, but President Han's response was measured. "We accept this honor, but we have questions that must be addressed. The unprovoked attack on our world cannot go unexamined." Counselor June nodded. "The Dominion has been sanctioned for their actions. Commander Sung has been removed from power and faces judgment before our courts." What he did not mention was the fear that still permeated council discussions about Earth. Humanity had not merely survived the attack. They had defeated a superior force using technology they should not have been able to understand, let alone improve upon. Later that evening, at a private dinner with Earth's leadership, General Hyun asked the question that had been on many minds. Why did some council members choose to help us? Representative Kwan, who had been part of the secret alliance, set down her glass. Not all of us agreed with the policy of isolation. Some of us recognized that the Dominion posed a greater threat to galactic stability than humanity ever could. And some of us, added Counselor Dae, the ancient member who rarely spoke, remembered stories of beings like you from the early days of the Council. Beings with unusual capabilities. The room grew quiet at this revelation. Meanwhile, across the solar system, Council scientists explored what humans had discovered on Mars and Europa during their early space exploration. Representative Kwan led a team examining strange structures buried beneath the Martian soil. Structures that matched no known architectural pattern from any Council species. Inside one chamber, they found artifacts that defied explanation. Tools, records, and technology that bore unmistakable human design elements, yet carbon dating placed them at over 300,000 years old. Similar discoveries came from research teams on distant exoplanets, where probe data showed scattered outposts of clearly human origin. In her private research facility, Representative Kwan analyzed the findings with growing amazement. Her research partner, Council Scientist Ba, ran another analysis on the artifacts. "The dating is confirmed," Ba reported. "These are human-made objects, hundreds of thousands of years old, scattered across the galaxy." Kwan stared at the data, her mind racing with implications. "We didn't discover them," she whispered. "They were watching us all along." On Earth, as humanity prepared to take its place in galactic society, strange events began to occur. Underwater research vessels reported energy signatures from the deepest ocean trenches. Ancient chambers beneath the ocean floor activated for the first time in millennia, responding to some unknown signal. In computer systems worldwide, new data began to appear. Records long forgotten began to upload to global networks. These weren't alien messages but human ones, written in proto-languages that linguistic experts scrambled to decode. Professor Jin, whose resonance field technology had saved Earth, was the first to translate a complete section. She stood before the United Earth Council, her hands trembling as she held the printed translation. "This is the true history of humanity's first journey to the stars," she explained, "and why our ancestors returned to Earth to start again." The records told a story that even the Council found difficult to accept. Humanity had not evolved on Earth. They had returned to it. Millions of years ago, humans had been among the first spacefaring races, traveling further and faster than any species since. They had encountered something in the void between galaxies, something that had nearly destroyed them. In their desperate retreat, they had hidden themselves on Earth, erasing their technology and their memories, preserving only buried seeds of knowledge that would reawaken when needed. The Council had always feared what might emerge from Earth. They never imagined they had good reason to. As the ancient chambers continued to activate around the planet, humanity stood at the threshold of reclaiming their forgotten legacy, and the galaxy prepared for the return of its oldest travelers. The end.